Hey everyone, this is Joey Swanger, and I'm back again with another marvelous video. The demonic soul eater Zarathos is a Marvel comic fictional character, making heads turn in the famous story arcs featuring Ghost Rider. He was first seen appearing in the 5th issue of Marvel Spotlight, which was published in August 1972. Zarathos was created as a demon and a supernatural entity by writers Gary Friedrich and Mike Plog. Initially, Zarathos was a powerful demon who was once the ruler of a legion of demons in the Marvel Comics universe. He was said to have been one of the first demons created by the demonic entity Mephisto. Zarathos was originally depicted as a cruel and malevolent entity, seeking to spread chaos and destruction wherever he went. But his character gained popularity after merging with Johnny Blaze, the human host of the Ghost Rider, to eventually become the Spirit of Vengeance. Artist Mike Plug sparked life into the character with his impeccable animation, which typically made him the iconic antagonist to the Ghost Rider, often seeking to gain more power and control over the world. However, Zarathos has also been portrayed as a force of good at times, using his powers to fight against other evil supernatural entities. This video will intricately explore the sadistic adventures of the mighty Zarathos. So without further ado, let's get started. Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin. Exploring the origins and backstory of this evil demon. As one of the most powerful antagonists in Marvel Comics, Zarathos was originally an angel serving in heaven, one of the many spirits created by God to do his bidding. Initially, he was a noble and just being, but over time he was blinded and corrupted by his own power, with an ego boost fueled by the adoration of mortals. As he began to crave more power, Zarathos became increasingly tyrannical, leading to a rebellion among the other angels. This resulted in Zarathos being cast out of heaven and falling to earth, where he rose as a demon. Zarathos, the mighty demon, was the first of his kind and continued to grow in power, to eventually become one of the most feared entities in the supernatural world. Zarathos was seemingly infamous for his cruelty and thirst for power, and over time, he accumulated or sired a following of lesser demons who served him, which eventually led to him ruling a major section of Hell, where he continued to reign for many centuries. Later on, he was first brought forth from Hell by a Native American sorcerer named Canutu, in an effort to use his inexplicable powers against a common enemy. He ardently believed that by summoning Zarathos and binding him to a mortal host, he could successfully use the demon's power to protect his people from their enemies. However, the plan ultimately backfired, as Zarathos was overly powerful for them to have any control over him, and in turn, he began terrorizing the tribe. Initially, Zarathos went on wreaking havoc on Hell and Earth, until another extra-dimensional demon by the name of Mephisto came along, who was a powerful and cunning demon who seek to control and manipulate the lives of mortals, and eventually turn them into lesser demon incarnates. Zarathos' popularity of acquiring more souls really annoyed him, as Hell was being continuously deprived of a steady supply of souls, while Zarathos was hoarding all of them. Eventually, Mephisto devised a deceptive plan, and with the help of Centaurus, his soulless immortal pawn, and straight up confronted Zarathos. From there on, Zarathos was contained within the Soul Chamber and banished to the Netherworld, or an extra-dimensional land of the dead, where Mephisto was able to gain control over the demon's power and use it to further his own goals and agendas. He often sent Zarathos' disruptive vessel back to Earth, where he was tasked with binding himself with mortal hosts and ravaging souls for Mephisto. Wanting to be free, Zarathos sought to obtain the Great Medallion of Power, to rule Hell and Earth, whilst continuing to feed on the negativity of souls required to boost his strength and power levels. He also aligned himself with various demons in attempts to reach this goal. Thousands of years later, Johnny Blaze, a human stunt cyclist, made a deal with Mephisto, who he thought was the devil, to save his stepfather Crash Simpson from cancer by offering his soul in exchange. Although his stepfather was cured of cancer, Mephisto let Simpson die from injuries sustained while performing a failed motorcycle stunt. However, before Mephisto could claim Blaze's soul, Simpson's daughter Roxanne interrupted and used a spell from one of Blaze's occult books to banish Mephisto. After this, Mephisto was forced to leave without Blaze's soul, but he had already managed to merge the essence of Zarathos' demonic spirit into Blaze's body. Mephisto had controlled Zarathos' soul for around 2,000 years and had placed his essence in various human hosts to claim souls. After merging with Blaze, the composite of Zarathos and Blaze became known as Ghost Rider. Ghost Rider was a leather-donning, flaming skeletal wraith using hellish means to do good on Earth. Initially, Zarathos wanted to fully control Blaze's body, but his willpower was so strong that the demon entity failed to manipulate or gain control over the mortal's conscience and composite form. Although Zarathos frequently takes control of Blaze's body, he always manages to retain himself and use his powers to fight evil on Earth. For a short period of time, Zarathos was separated by Johnny Blaze because of the Crimson Mage, but later he managed to gain back control and became seemingly violent as the Ghost Rider. When Mephisto made a comeback, Zarathos was compelled to re-encounter Centaurus. But now, Ghost Rider had grown stronger, leading to an obvious clash over Johnny Blaze's composite body. To further complicate things, Mephisto completely frees Zarathos' soul, so he could compete with Blaze to gain full control over him. During this fiasco, Centaurus unleashed his pawn to use his soul crystal on the Ghost Rider, which sucked Blaze's soul out of his composite body, leaving him lifeless and thus severely weakening Zarathos, who found himself dying without being bound to a mortal on the earthly plane. A physical body, fueled by a living soul, was essential for a demon to control its possession on Earth, and Zarathos had none. With his last bit of power, Zarathos split the soul crystal into two halves, releasing Blaze's soul, along with countless other souls trapped in it from the past. Before merging back into one, the soul crystal sucked Centaurus inside, and with the help of Sin Eater, Centaurus' dying pawn, he managed to inculate his essence back into the crystal. Zarathos felt deceived out of his revenge against Centaurus, but Johnny Blaze was released to be free from Mephisto's curse, and thus the first ever existence of Ghost Rider came to an iconic end. A very special comic book story arc featuring Zarathos. Zarathos has numerous comic book story arcs, really painting a vivid picture of his character arc, but few of his major story arcs really uphold the demon as a super antagonist in his full glory. In the very beginning, the mighty demon engaged in combat with the old and ancient spirits of vengeance and corrupted several of their supervisors, known as the Blood. The Blood, who had aligned themselves with Zarathos, were misled with the promise of greater power and were referred to as the Fallen. Unfortunately, Zarathos betrayed them and utilized their abilities to increase his own power, aiming to challenge Mephisto for control of his domain. Mephisto, however, outsmarted Zarathos by enlisting the help of Centaurus, who lacked a soul, making him immune to many of Zarathos' attacks. With his followers deserting him, Zarathos was easily overpowered through the use of magic and was transformed into a statue. As mentioned before, Mephisto often forced Zarathos to merge with mortals as a means of keeping him under control, similar to the spirits of vengeance. At one point, Zarathos was bound to Johnny Blaze. For a brief period, Zarathos was set free by the Beyonder, but in a final showdown with Johnny Blaze, he was defeated and was permanently confined in the Crystal of Souls, along with his longtime rival, Centaurus. In another story arc, towards the end of the events of Secret Wars 2, the Beyonder, who was furious at both humanity and the entire realm of existence, traveled to Hell and informed Mephisto of his plan to eliminate all existence in the universe. Mephisto does his best to persuade the Beyonder to abandon his plan, and in turn makes a bet with him. The Beyonder agrees to the bet on a set of conditions that dictate that would be responsible to select a champion to represent himself and another champion to represent Mephisto. If Mephisto were to win, the universe would be granted a 24-hour reprieve from destruction, but if the Beyonder wins, he would erase the universe from existence and allow his champion enough time to take full revenge on Mephisto. The Beyonder chose Spider-Man as Mephisto's champion, and Zarathos as his own champion. Zarathos' aim was not only to tarnish Spider-Man's morals and spirit, but also to prevent Spider-Man from stopping an assassination attempt on the Kingpin. Despite Zarathos' attempts at corruption, Spider-Man overcame all his challenges and saved the Kingpin's life. As a result, the Beyonder, after re-imprisoning Zarathos in the Soul Crystal, granted the universe one more day of existence, which was when the Beyonder was ultimately defeated and seemingly perished. Additionally, in a different story arc of the menacing demon, Zarathos becomes a threat to the world again when the Midnight Suns are formed. He starts off by joining forces with Lilith, a demon mother, but soon realizes that she is using him only to acquire the Medallion of Power. Additionally, Lilith convinces Zarathos that he is her son, which leads to him losing his memory. After this, he becomes the leader of the Fallen, or his evil followers and acolytes came to be known as the Evil Blood. However, due to his memory loss, Zarathos does not reach his full potential until he encounters the Fallen. After regaining sufficient power, he absorbs the essence of the Ghost Rider, but experiences immense pain due to the Ghost Rider still being present within him, which opens up an opportunity for the Midnight Suns to defeat Zarathos. Blade ultimately defeats him by transforming him into stone. After the Fear Itself storyline, Johnny Blaze has Zarathos exorcised from him, but later on, the demon is bound to a female host. Eventually, Zarathos is again bound to Johnny Blaze. Before being transformed into stone, Zarathos had expressed that he had impregnated Lilith, who planned on unleashing her children, but that arc is yet to be witnessed. Lastly, during another story arc, including the event of Damnation, Zarathos went to Hell along with Johnny Blaze and took control of Mephisto's throne, becoming the new king of Hell. What What made Zarathos so powerful? As one of the main antagonists in the Marvel Comics universe, Zarathos is a powerful supernatural entity, often depicted as the first demon, with an immaculate range of abilities and powers that are both formidable and dangerous. One of Zarathos' most notable and significant abilities is his immense supernatural strength, as he is able to overpower even the most powerful beings in the Marvel universe, and his strength is said to be unmatched. This makes him a formidable opponent in hand-to-hand combat, which makes it pretty difficult for anyone to stand up against him. In addition to his immaculate strength, Zarathos also has the ability to control and manipulate fire. He can heal or harm others by controlling or creating fire, and even use it to help him travel through different dimensions. This unique power also makes him a dangerous opponent, as he is able to unleash devastating attacks on his enemies. He is capable of projecting the Hellfire, which is a supernatural flame that can burn his enemies both spiritually and physically. Zarathos also possesses a range of other supernatural abilities, including immortality, invincibility, and the power of flight. As a demon, he is immune to most forms of injury and is able to survive even the most intense battles. This makes him an incredibly difficult opponent to defeat, as he can endure even the most severe and fatal attacks. Another one of Zarathos' most unique and powerful abilities is to skillfully possess and control the minds of others. He can efficiently take over the bodies of other beings or mortals and use them as mere vessels for his own evil agendas and plans, thus allowing him to manipulate those around him to do his bidding. Another way for Zarathos to grow his menacing powers further is by consuming souls, which further fuels his strength. In addition to his individual demonic powers, Zarathos also has access to a range of powerful dark magic spells and rituals. This allows him to conveniently cast curses, summon demons, and perform other dark magic that can cause widespread destruction and harm. His supernatural and magic abilities are nearly impossible to defeat, which gives him another reason to be a formidable opponent for any hero or team of heroes. Despite his immense power and abilities, Zarathos is not invincible. He has been defeated in the past, and it is possible for others to defeat him with the right strategy and resources. However, it does take a great deal of effort and courage to stand up against the mighty Zarathos, and many heroes have fallen to his wrath. In short, the mighty Zarathos, with his almost indispensable demonic physiology, is well versed in superhuman strength, inoculates superhuman speed, stamina, reflexes, and durability. As the spirit of vengeance, he is capable of manipulating nature, magical energy, and size. Zarathos can also manipulate his size, teleport himself, and is definitely immortal. Furthermore, he can draw strength from his worshippers and increase his power, and can embolden himself by feasting on negative emotions and energies of any world in his residence. Conclusion: Zarathos has a rich history in the Ghost Rider comic book series, having been one of the primary antagonists of the franchise since his first appearance. Despite being defeated and overruled on multiple occasions, Zarathos is a powerful and cunning demon entity with a long-standing conflict with the Ghost Riders, tormenting them in and out, and his influence continues to be felt pretty heavily in the Marvel Comics universe, which is honestly a testament to his enduring evil and power. Please let us know in the comment box below on your thoughts on this sadistic demonic entity that perpetually torments Ghost Rider. And if you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks, everyone.